now you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me just quickly repeat my intro. Thank you all for joining the round 14 Q&A, which is not quite a lockout Q&A. I'll probably have to hop off just about after 7 o'clock. So I won't be able to go all the way till lockout, but obviously we'll have about an hour just to go through questions, and also just cover off any late news on any potential restings and origin stars. Yep, cool. I can see I just hadn't connected my microphone, so I've connected it now, so it should all be good to go. So thank you everyone. Tommy Turbo again in the chat, mate. Surely you've got better things to do in your rehab than sit and watch some dude talk about NRL SuperCoach, but good to see you in the chat, Tommy Turbo. We'll pick you up for nice and cheap next season. Sticky Nicky, Zach, Cassidy, Rio, Christopher, Waylord, Sai, great to see all of you. Moz, as always, here. Thank you for the support. Ewan, Mitchell, mate, great to see a lot of you guys here. So, yeah, look, what we'll do is I'll quickly run through the latest news on any origin stars. Apologies, I'm still not quite 100%, so if I do cough during the stream, like that, I'm still not quite over my cold, but it is getting better day by day, which is good. So yeah, in terms of my trades, I've got them just below my head, so I'm sticking with what I said in my video. I think I'm going to be taking out, who am I taking out? Tuipulotu and Suwali for Ezra Mam and Mulatalo. So hopefully I made my thoughts pretty clear on the round 17 centres and why I ended up going with Mulatalo just over Campbell Graham. But look, there'll probably be some questions around that, I think, coming into the stream. But in terms of like restings for an Origin Stars, at the moment there hasn't been that much carnage. There hasn't been that many players ruled out. I mean, the couple that I can think of is Tony Staggs is one, Azayo is one, but more or less everyone else is playing. I know Kurt Capel is not playing, but like Payne Haas is going to be playing. Who else we got? We got Harry Grant is confirmed to play as well. So I think if you've got Grant, you're very happy with that, and you'll definitely be playing him in your 17. Looks like Cam Munster is also going to be fine to go. I just saw Adam Stiles' latest 24-hour cut tweet, and so he looks like he gave the thumbs up on Munster. So Munster looks like he's going to play. Ruben Cotter is out. That's one that I did miss, but I think that was one a lot of people expected coming into this week. So yeah, thanks everyone for reminding me in the chat as well. What a machine. We have to get, look, I'm a bit disappointed with New South Wales not getting the win, but credit to Queensland and Ruben Cotter and Carrigan, absolute machines. Cotter especially, just what a guy, played full 80 minutes in the middle. From the Roosters, so Tedesco, Tupou and Lindsay Collins all look like they're going to play as well. So it doesn't seem like there's that many restings. Penrith is really the team I think we're all waiting on. So if you see here in my team setup, at the moment I've got Cleary in the reserves just because Ezra Mam will play before Penrith. So that's something I would encourage for all of you guys setting up your team this week. If you're able to put all your origin stars on the reserves, if you can, and if you're a little bit unsure on whether they're going to play or not. So for example, Ezra Mam will play before Nathan Cleary. If we haven't found out that Cleary is, we haven't got the news yet, if he's in or if he's out, then I would play Ezra Mam and put Cleary in reserves. Because the problem is if I put Cleary in the starting team and then I haven't got the reserve on Ezra Mam, I'm going to have to cop an AE. And so I'd be getting it from like a Leo Thompson or something, which would be pretty bad. So that's the reason why I've got Cleary in the reserves. It actually means I'm, at the moment, leaving out McInnes. Now I could make that decision to swap McInnes in for Coruscant, but I can make that call tomorrow. McInnes is probably going to be a more solid option to get 60-65, so I could make that swap. I will play Payne Haas. I think even if he plays 50-55 minutes, I think he can still punch out 55 to 60 points. He's just a monster. So I think I'm going to be sticking with Payne Haas in my team. I've got VC on Garrick, but I can't even do a loop this week, so I think I'm just going to be sticking with Hines captain. I don't think I'm going to change off that realistically, unless there's some crazy injury news or something. But look, against the Warriors, it seems like a great matchup. I'm going all in on the Sharks, Mulatalo, Talakai and Hines. So yeah, that's my moves for this week. I'll make a call on the McInnes versus Coruscant benching. But yeah, look, another 2 trades burnt. A few people in the chat as well. Yep, Coates, obviously I missed Coates. He's out. And also Nanai is another one who's not been playing as well. So I think, that's enough of my team. We'll get to some questions. There's over 100 of you now watching, so that's awesome to see. Give the stream a like as well, guys, as you watch if you do enjoy it. But yeah, start putting in your questions. Let's start going through them for about the next hour or so. Anyone who's just joined in, I won't be able to go for the full all the way till lockout. So I will just have to go till about just after 7 o'clock. I just need to step out, but I'll be back to watch the game later on as well. Moz, good point. Yeah, McInnes will play late in the round, exactly. So if I need to swap to Cleary, if I need to swap the reserve off Cleary, I can. I've also got you and Aiken on the bench, so I've got some depth, I think. So it's kind of why I was actually hoping for a few extra restings, because I felt like I had some decent depth to manage it. But it looks like I'm gonna have to maybe leave out looks like maybe Coruscant or Aiken. Hey man, do you reckon you play Cheese over Grant with the loss of minutes? Nah. I think if Harry Grant is playing, you play him. Even if he plays 50 minutes, he's that kind of guy who can punch out like 70 to 80 points. You know, he gets maybe a base of 30, some attacking stats, and he gets you 70 points already. Smith, I don't think, can do quite the same. So no, I'd be playing Harry Grant if you got him for sure. You reckon Starling for Marnie is good? Already got McInnes. I don't love the Marnie pickup, Zach, in all honesty. I feel like I can't really remember what he's done too recently, but I feel like it's not been memorable. Like 540k is averaging 55. Let's have a quick look, see here. So like 53, 64, 48. Look, the scores are okay, but they're nothing special. I feel like if I don't know what your team setup is like. If you have duels, it'd be nice to go flip to someone else. Like honestly, I would maybe even consider just going with the Cheese. Just take the price saving, and you know, Brandon Smith is dual, so I'd maybe just go that way. I mean, I don't love the Brandon Smith pick either, but at least he's a lot cheaper than Marnie. I just feel like Marnie's not really an option now to consider. Get rid of Leo Thompson or Valea. Albert, I'll be getting rid of Valea. He's injured. Leo Thompson could be a chance of covering round 17, so I'd be getting rid of Valea in your instance. Owen, Aman, Mam or Kiri as your final reserve? I think Mam, honestly, Owen. I don't tend to like playing guys against the Melbourne Storm, especially Kiri. He's got pretty low base. So I think Mam actually... Ezra Mam's... it's a small sample size. He's only played 2 games, but he's got a base and power average of 44, which is actually a really, really high, like, solid floor for a half. So I feel like you're going to get less of a poor score from Mam. And he's gone pretty good in the first 2 games that he's played as well. So I'd probably be playing Mam over Kiri. Aman, what do you think of Averillo at fullback? He scored 50 in base last week, and he's a break-even of minus 25. Excuse me. Yeah, look, I think Averillo has looked good at fullback. I think it looks like they might stick with him there. I just don't like buying Bulldogs attacking players, in all honesty. I just feel like they don't score enough points. It won't cover round 17 either. So I feel like I'd rather just... I think you can get Averillo in your centre wing. I feel like there's so many other good centre wings that you can consider. Oh, sorry, he's halfback 5'8". No, again, see... If you can only get him in one of those 2 spots, I feel like those are really key positions. We won't cover round 17, so no, I don't love it, even though he does have the negative break even. Would I play Cook this week, Peter? Yeah, I think, again, I would be playing Cook. I know Mamazoulis is on the bench, I think, so I think it seems as though Cook would probably get reduced minutes. But I still think I'd play him. He could be good, even in 40, 50 minutes for like 50 points. Excuse me. Do I think Nick Meaney is a sell? Maybe for a low max. Yeah, I mean, look. Meaney will cover round 17, but he won't have the goal kicking. So, yeah, Ryan Pappenhausen. I know, Moz, you're in the chat. You were talking about Pappenhausen. We'll definitely talk about Pappenhausen on the stream. Once Pappenhausen comes back, Nick Meaney will lose the goal kicking. And I feel like at that point, his appeal also kind of reduces as well. And I feel like now is maybe a good time to cut ties. You can get rid of him for like a low max. Mulatalo, Campbell Graham, one of those kind of guys. Should you prioritize selling Karaz over Taff? No, Sticky, I would actually get rid of Taff because he's in a more key position, halfback or fullback, and he's not even going to be playing. At least Karaz is still playing. So no, I'd be getting rid of Taff over Karaz. Would you prioritize Mulatalo or Dylan Brown? Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Oh, man. You know I love Dylan Brown. I love me some Dylan Brown. He does have the Bulldogs this week, and Mulatalo has got the Warriors. Next week, Dylan Brown doesn't have an easier matchup. He's got, I think, the Roosters. Yes, he's got the Roosters and then the Rabbitohs. So I feel like Mulatalo is still going to be an okay pickup next week because I think he has the Titans, and he also has a higher break even. So it's a tough call, but I would just go Dylan Brown just for that reason. Am I last reserve? Cobbo, Appy, or Adam Elliott? Ooh. Probably Appy. He has the best matchup there. I think he's got a chance of hitting maybe 70, 80. So maybe Appy. Would you sell Yo for Angus or McInnes? Yeah, look, so yeah, Isaiah Yo, so I sold him last week. I think him missing this week, he'll miss round 17, might get his minutes managed again round 18. That was my reason for selling. So I would sell. I think Angus was good to buy last week. Now with the draw toughening up, he could even be a chance to maybe get back into the Origin mix. I think after, look, Madison and all those kind of guys weren't poor, but Angus might be a shot. McInnes I don't think is any chance, and he's in round 17 option, so I'd be going with McInnes. Paul? Is Mulatalo worth the armband? Oh, I'm personally not brave enough to go there. I like Hines just for the fact that he's goal kicking, and so irrespective of whoever from the Sharks does well, Hines is going to get a piece of that, but he is also their key playmaker, so I feel like anything that will benefit Mulatalo, Hines is going to equally benefit off. So I would be going with Hines. He's got the higher upside. He's got 180 against the Warriors last time. Sorry, guys. Meany on the wing was a good buy when Paps was playing. I think you hold Meany to round 17. It is a good point, Moz. I mean, he is a round 17 option, so maybe saying to sell him is probably a bit short-sighted. So, yeah, he definitely could be an option that you could hold as well, and he would be a big pod. And look, he is playing for the Storm. He will definitely get some attacking stats, you'd say. Hey, Ma, what's your plan to get Pappenhausen back in? Okay, let's quickly talk about Pappenhausen. I think now that we know that he's coming back round 15, that's been confirmed, I think, by either the club or some journalist, I think. So, he's 920k. He's got a break even, I think, of like 130, I want to say. So, let's have a look. 142 he has a break even of, which, look, next week against the Broncos, he can definitely hit that. My thinking is maybe to get him the week after. Just because he's returning off a hammy injury, I kind of want to maybe give it a week, see how he goes. And then I can pick him up maybe the week after against Manly in round 16. But again, that gives another week to see how New South Wales go. Maybe Pappenhausen is a chance at playing in round 17 in game 3, maybe off the utility, maybe 18th man. So I don't think I need to rush into buying Pappenhausen. In terms of how do I get him, that's a different question. I think I'll have to maybe boost to get Pappenhausen in just because of his price. So if I look at my team, there's a few guys who I'd probably be keen to sell. So part of the reason why I'm also going for Ezra Mam this week is if for whatever reason he can't make it to round 17, because Tyson Gamble looks like he's out for about a month. Now what you need to keep in mind as well is that there's an extra week off between round 15 and 16, because I can't remember which one of those 2 weeks, it's the rep weekend. So there's a whole week off in the NRL. So a month doesn't mean 4 rounds. So hypothetically, let's say Tyson Gamble comes back for round 17. If Ezra Mam has made up his money, I can use Hines to flip him. And then hopefully what I'll probably think about doing is maybe I might sell like an Aitken down to like a Trent Peoples in round 17. If, for example, Peoples is named in round 17 because Cam Murray's out and maybe even Jai Arrow's out as well, I would hope that Peoples can come into the team for the Rabbitohs. I can sell Aitken down to him. That frees up maybe about just under 400k. And then I can maybe upgrade Mam up to Pappenhausen potentially. And if I need to boost to, fund that more, I'd maybe sell someone like a Cooler, maybe a Max King, just down to like enough, honestly, something like that. Maybe even sell Coruscant. I don't know. It might be something like that, but that's my rough plan. If Mam is still playing in round 17, then it's going to be a bit more difficult. That might actually mean selling someone like an Isaac Tungo, maybe a Taylor May. Probably not Taylor May, but it could be like a double downgrade of like Targo and Aitken down to upgrade, Cooler to Pappenhausen. That's my rough plan at the moment. But yeah, I think I'll have to wait on him. I don't think I can go straight for him for round 15. Round 16 at the earliest, and then maybe round 17. Gives us a chance as well to see if he potentially comes into the Origin mix. Alright, that's my Pappenhausen plan. Let's answer some more questions, but good question. We definitely need to think about how to get back Pappenhausen, because if he's fit for round 17, close to a must. Last reserve out of Nat Butcher, Cooler, and Burton. Who are the Bulldogs playing? The Eels. I feel like I'd play Burton. It's a home game. I know Cooler has got the Tigers, but look, he literally doesn't score any higher than 40 points. Nat Butcher against the Storm I don't like, so I play Burton. Goal kicking as well. The Eels, yes, while they're a good team, they can still concede points. So I still think I'd be going with Burton out of those. Would I play Manu over Cobbo? Yeah, Corey, for me, Manu is a must play any week. We saw last week. I know he won't be the same playing in centre wing, but he's got that high floor. I feel like he's just one of those guys that I don't want to be benching any week. Do you think this is the last time to get Lomax at this good price, or wait after those 4 tough rounds? Yeah, I kind of spoke about this in the video. So I know he's at his low price of 551k. Got a low break even as well. I just don't love the matchups coming up in the next 3 weeks. So I think you might just have to sacrifice 50, 60k on him and pick him up in round 17 itself when he's got the Broncos, I believe it is. Because I don't like the fact that they've got the Cowboys, and then I think after that, it's the Cowboys, the Rabbitohs, and then the Raiders. Now, Rabbitohs is okay, I think, for scoring points, but Raiders have improved as well. Look, he can be a good option. The Cowboys will be depleted, but I think we've seen enough from the Cowboys. Even without their origin players, they are a good team. And I think this week, I think Mulatalo, Graham, I think they're both better buys than Lomax. So I think I would maybe try to wait it out. I'm happy I've got him, but I'm in a bit of a different position, obviously, owning him already. I feel like if I didn't own him this week, I don't think I'd actually be buying him this week. VC, Drinkwater, or Johnston? Now, that's an interesting one. So originally I would have said Drinkwater, but he's not goal kicking, so his upside could be slightly capped. Johnston against the Titans could go massive. So I feel like Johnston could be the more pod play. But I think you're really tossing a coin there, Mike. I'd probably lean Drinkwater just for the fact that he's the fullback, the key playmaker, and he's shown really good upside so far this year. So I'd probably stick with Drinkwater. Nat Butcher will probably play more minutes. Yeah, that's right. Actually, Egan Butcher just got cut from the 24-hour cut. So, yes, that's right. Maybe you could consider Butcher for a solid option, but I still think Burton, he's been in pretty good form recently. So I think Eels doesn't scare me in terms of not being able to score points. E14, love your work, Aman. More thoughts on Mam, Drinkwater, Mulatalo in for Ilias, Tuipilatu, and Nanai. Ooh. Now, Drinkwater, look, he's got a good draw, so I don't think he's actually the worst buy. And he could be a nice bridge to Pappenhausen actually as well. And Mam and Mulatalo, I think, are really good buys. Yeah, no, E14. With your trade situation as well, 19 trades left, I think I'd pull the trigger on those 3. I really like that. Thoughts on Swally and Taft to Brown and Mam? Yeah, Mitch locked that in. Great. I think that's a really good set of trades there. Penasini and Yo for Campbell Graham and Tarmow. No, I don't like selling Penasini. Isaiah Yo can be sold, but I don't like selling Penasini. Got the Bulldogs this week. He'll cover round 17. He's actually been really solid recently. And James Tarmow, I feel like that's just trying to plug in someone for round 17. So, no, if you've got the duels to go Yo to Campbell Graham, I think that's a good move, but I would hold off on the Tarmow and Penasini ones. Yeah, Waylord, sorry, I'll address your question because I think I actually did skip over this one. So, Beau Fermor, I didn't really speak about Beau Fermor as a round 13 sell when I was talking about all those other centre wings. I don't think he's an easy trade out. 94 break-even is a bit annoying, but I kind of put him in a similar boat to Aitken. You know, he's that kind of handy dual centre wing, second or fourth who you can play in your centre wing. So it could be okay depth for your 5th, 6th centre wing. The 94 break-even I didn't realise was that high. So I feel like I would still try to prioritize selling the likes of Tuipilatu, Suwali, Kula, Karaz, over someone like Fermor. I'd put Fermor in the sell category above the likes of Isaac Tungo and Aitken. I would prefer to hold Aitken and Tungo instead of Fermor. Look, if Fermor's, say, your only way realistically to get to a Mulatalo, a Campbell Graham, I can't really fault that trade out. Could King be a season-long hold as front row forward is lacking? Yeah, no, 100%. That's why I'm not rushing to sell him. If Payne Haas was out, I was happy enough to play Max King. I think while TPJ is out as well, King has been pretty decent. So yeah, no, I agree. He's not doing anything wrong at the moment. He could be an option we just continue to hold on to. Similar to Oichikamanu. We all started with him as a cheapie, and he just ended up staying in our teams because he was pretty solid. Just wanted to say you're a legend. Cheers, Aman. Thanks, Gazaraki. Tyler, what's your favorite Indian dish? Oh, I'm a sucker for chicken tikka masala. Love it. Absolutely love that. Chicken tikka masala with some garlic naan. Get that into me any day of the week. Who to get for Leo Thompson? I think I'd be holding on Leo Thompson now. Just while there's a potential that he covers round 17, I'm just going to be holding on to him, I think. And look, at 247k, you're not going to get a lot of value out of selling him either, I think, as well. So yeah, I'm sticking with Leo Thompson for now. Not that I love that option. Scott, if Cleary gets ruled out late, are you going to reserve Aitken, Karaz, or is there someone else in your team who can't see? Yeah, so if Cleary ends up not playing, I'll take the reserve off him and I'll put it on McInnes at the top here. If I don't do that, because as you can, so my other reserves, I'll quickly show them, just my bottom half of my team. So Dylan Brown and Mulatalo 100% have to play, and I can't really not play any of my other centre wings. So Mulatalo is definitely playing, Dylan Brown is 100% playing. Talakai as well with the matchup, I think has to play. And then, yeah, Cleary, if he's ruled out, I'll put it on McInnes. If there's anything else that happens, then I'll default to Aitken. So, yeah, that's going to be my reserve situation. Okay. Trading Dylan Brown or Campbell Graham? Oh, God, these are such tough questions. I think Dylan Brown is a season keeper. I think he is the second best 5'8". Campbell Graham, yes, he's really good, but his run home draw is going to be tough. So I think Dylan Brown. What amount of trades would you say is ideal to be heading into this period with and have after round 17? Ideally, I think you would have maybe 17, 18 trades left. Most people are probably going to be around the 15, 16, or maybe that's just me saying that because I'm on 13 after doing trades this week. So, yeah, I'd say around maybe the 18 mark. 18 with maybe 1 or 2 boosts is probably a good spot, I think, to be in. What about the samba thing with vada, I think it's called? Yep. So, yeah, there's idli samba. So, samba is like lentil soup. It's spicy, and you eat it with idli, which is like the rice. I don't know how you call it. It's not a rice cake, but it's kind of like a little thing of rice that you dip into the samba. You also have vada, which is fried. Yeah, also hits very well. Very good South Indian dish, but I'm North Indian, so I like my chicken and my meat. Is Sean Lane worth trading in for that butcher? Sean Lane, I know the SE experience guys are talking about Sean Lane. Seems strange. I mean, like, he's averaging 59.7. He's close to a 60 average. Oh, jeez. Bulldogs this week. This is the problem. The second row forward for round 17 is really, really barren. There's not that many good options. So look, I feel like if you've got a lot of trades and you can bring in Sean Lane and then trade him out later, go for it. But I don't think you have to force that trade necessarily. Nat Butcher has still got a relatively low break even. I think it's like 40-ish. So I think he doesn't even have to necessarily be sold outright. Munster to Mam to generate cash, then Munster back after Origin. Nah, I don't like. If we know Munster's playing this week, I can't sell Munster. He generally does back up pretty often against Origin. I get what you're doing, Bradley, in terms of generating the cash. Like, I did a similar thing with Grant last week, but Grant was out. It was easy to sell. If Munster's fit playing this week, I don't think you can sell. Man is a machine. He was so good on Wednesday. Like, oh God. Jealous not owning. Just jealous not having Munster as a New South Welshman. That's for sure. If Cleary plays, are you going to take Mam out and play McInnes? Yep. So if I find out that Nathan Cleary plays before the Broncos play, I'll sub in Cleary for Mam. So I'll just quickly show it. So in that situation, I wouldn't reserve Ezra Mam. I would reserve McInnes. That's in the situation if I find out that Cleary's playing before the Broncos play, which is Broncos play 7:30 tomorrow, and Penrith play 4 o'clock on Sunday. So you would get the Penrith 24-hour team cuts before the Broncos play. So hopefully we get that information. So yeah, this is the thing. You be really conscious of how you set up your team this week in terms of putting your Origin guys on the reserves if you can, and playing guys who are later in the round on your reserves as well if you can. It just gives you some extra flexibility. Who can you trade TPJ for? Yeah, look, I think TPJ probably is fine to sell. So you're going to obviously be looking at a round 17 guy. 543k. There's not a lot of options. I mean, look, IPAP would be the obvious one. Maybe a Kolomatangi from the Rabbitohs is an option. Maybe if you've got duels, you can go down to a centre wing. There's plenty of round 17 centre wings. So yeah, it really depends, Lawrence, on which kind of position you can go for. But that's a few options top of my head. Pablo, should you trade Grant to create cash? No, I think that ship has sailed on the sell Grant because he was playing this week. I think he's playing this week, so yeah, I think you gotta keep Grant now. Scott, Aman, can you go through your team and tell us the players you intend to trade out and who's keepers for the run home? Yeah, look, I think that's a good exercise to do. Just conscious that there'll be a lot of other kind of more short-term questions coming in, but realistically, in my team, I think McInnes I'll keep for the run home. I think Coruscant I'll try flip to Grant, and that'll be my Grant-McInnes combo. IPAP and Payne Haas not going anywhere. Leo Thompson, if I can get rid of, ideally I would, but he might end up being one of those guys who just stays there for the rest of the season. Crichton, Olukwatu, I think Talakai all staying there for the rest of the season. Isaac Tungo is dependent on how I need to get Pappenhausen back, otherwise I might keep Tungo as well. Aitken, I think, could be on the chopping block to create funds for Pappenhausen. Cleary, season keeper. Munster, Dylan Brown, not going anywhere. Ezra Mann will eventually be sold. I think I'll try to use him as a bridge to either Pappenhausen or Tedesco. So I'll flip Nico Hines back to halfback and try to get Ezra Mann out eventually. But look, we'll see how he goes. He could end up being very good. My centre wing is basically fine. Garrick, Manu, Lomax, Taylor May, Mulatalo, all season keepers in my eyes. So then I'll try to get rid of the likes of Karaz and Kula. So Kula eventually have to go for like a Tedesco. And Ezra Mann will have to go for like Pappenhausen. And then Coruscant for Grant. Those are the three key guys I really want to try to get to with my 13 trades left. And then I think that'll probably leave me with about 6-7 trades just to manage with the rest of the season. But I think hopefully then my team is set up well enough. Around how many players do I want to have for round 17? So yeah, at the moment for round 17, I'm going to exclude Jack Howarth and I'm going to exclude Tass. So if I exclude them, I'm banking potentially Leo Thompson playing. So I'd have McInnes, IPAP, Leo Thompson, Talakai, so that's 4. Ezra Mann maybe 5. Dylan Brown 6. Mulatalo 7. Lomax 8. So that's 8 who I think are a good chance of playing. 7 if I exclude Leo Thompson. And then if I want to get in maybe a couple more, like maybe Paps, maybe a Trent Peoples, I might be sitting on like 10 to 11. And that might be it for me, but we'll see how we go. Campbell Graham would be nice, but with my centre wing setup, I'm not actually sure how I'm going to get him in. Because I'm going to need money to get Pappenhausen, Grant, and Tedesco back. Big fat masala dosa for the boys. Gazraki, thank you, mate. Mate, $5. I think if I go far west enough in Sydney, I'll be able to get a masala dosa for $5. But mate, love a masala dosa. Get some of that potato filling in there, spicy, with some sambar and some green chutney, mate. Oh, I'm getting hungry. I will be getting takeaway dinner for tonight. So yeah, actually, you guys let me know in the chat. I've boiled down my dinner choice for a chicken schnitzel burger or a Portuguese chicken burger, which has got some kind of like that Portuguese flavor and chili. I'm leaning towards Portuguese burger because I love my chili, and it'll come obviously with some hot chips and a Coke. So yeah, let me know which one of the two you guys prefer. That's gonna be my dinner for tonight as I watch the footy. How good is a long weekend, by the way, for anyone who's in New South Wales? Sevo, a good buy. So on Sunday last week, I was keen on Sevo because I was like, Bulldogs matchup, coming back in, massive pod. I've thought about it more though, and I think the fact that he's just come, the first game from an injury, I'd want to see it, I think, first. So I think he might be someone I buy in like round 17, potentially. So yeah, I think he's an okay buy if you're willing to take the pod. I know a couple of people are going there. But no, I don't think I'll be buying him this week. Sam, hey man, loving the content. Thank you very much. Would you rather Mulatalo but using final boost or McInnes in? No boost. So you're either buying Mulatalo with a boost or McInnes without a boost. I would straight head to head, I would say Mulatalo is the better buy this week. But I do feel like there could be some value in holding that boost up your sleeve. Like, helping and getting Pappenhausen back, or after the buys, getting in Grant, Tedesco back in. So I'd say McInnes, I would prefer Mulatalo, but I think keeping a boost up your sleeve could be really handy. So I'd say just go with McInnes. But I would prefer Mulatalo, ideally. Everyone's saying Portuguese burger. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I think I was leaning towards Portuguese burger anyway. So, thank you everyone for confirming that. I'm so hungry now as well. I went gym just beforehand, so I had a shake, but I need some solid food, so I think, a burger will be will go down very nicely. Thanks heaps, Aman. Sorry if it was a long answer. Just wanted to see how your priorities. No, Scott. No, look. It's a really good question. I think it's a good exercise as well. Just look at your team, see what you're happy with, see where you want to focus on. When I went through that, I'm actually really happy with how my team's looking at the moment. Centre wing's good. There's really those three key guys. Grant, Pappenhausen, and Tedesco. I think I really want to get in. So many here would want you to do an ASMR video of you eating the burger. Yeah. I don't think I'll be doing that on this channel. Surely people don't want to watch me eat some food. But yeah, Portuguese burgers got the higher votes. I could have actually done a poll. You can do the polls on the. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a chest day. It was upper body day. So I do an upper body, lower body split. So lower body is just basically all the legs. Upper body is like everything. So I did like back, chest, shoulders, some arms as well. Look, I'm not big. Don't get me wrong, but I need to do it to keep in shape. Otherwise, because I love my takeaway food. So if I don't go to the gym, I'll just become really fat. Thoughts on getting rid of Hiku? Been such a good pod for you. Yeah, look, Hiku. I owned Hiku for the first couple of weeks of the season, and it was underwhelming. Just put it that way. I think if you've got him though, I think I'd be holding him until round 17 because the Cowboys have a good draw. I'm pretty sure. So if I go look up, so I'm using Drinkwater as an example. So you've got the Dragons, Manly, then the Broncos, and then it's the bye week. So I'd probably maybe just hold him until at least hold him for this week against the Dragons, and then you can reassess next week, maybe get in Graham, Mulatalo. Otherwise, in round 17, you could just sell him at that point. Last reserve pick for you, Lukey, Butcher, Jackson. I think Lukey, Albert. So Lukey's got the best matchup, and he's also probably going to play 80 minutes. He's got good attacking upside as well. Dragons are not a particularly strong team. So yeah, I think I'd go Lukey. There's so many questions about burgers now. Very good. Ilias to Brown or hold Ilias to round 17? Nah. Ilias to Brown, I think I would lock that in, Tyler. I know Ilias can cover round 17. This is one of those instances, though, where Ilias is like going to get you 30, 35. Brown this week could get 100. And any points that Ilias can get in round 17, Brown could offset. And I think Brown is a season keeper. So yeah, I would be doing that switch personally. You're going from Ilias to a gun, in my opinion. So yeah, I like that move. Is Lomax a buy this week with a low break even over Mulatalo and Graham? So yeah, hopefully if you haven't seen the video already that I posted on Wednesday, kind of went through this already. My ranking is Mulatalo, Campbell Graham, Alex Johnston, if you want a more short-term punt, and then Lomax. Even though Lomax does have the low break even, the other 2 or 3, if you include Johnston, they all have better draws coming up. And so Lomax is a safe option, but I don't think he's a great buy this week. I think even though Mulatalo has got a high break even, his next 3 games is probably the best 3 games that you can ask for in the NRL at the moment. I think he's got the Warriors, the Titans, and then the Dogs or the Tigers, one of those 2. It's 3 amazing games in a row. Murray or Graham for the run home. Is that Queenslander? Is that Cameron Murray or is that like Murray Taulagi? Maybe just clarify who that is because I'm not quite sure. But if it's Cameron Murray, I'd say still get Graham just because of the origin factor. If it's Murray Taulagi, I would still say Graham. So in any case, I'd probably say it's Campbell Graham. Would you get McInnes or Angus Crichton? I think I would get McInnes just for the fact that we'll cover round 17. I do think Crichton's a better option, but I think I'd be getting McInnes in this week. At least he's got a better matchup. Angus has got the Storm, who's a pretty tough matchup. Should you be looking to move from Cody Walker to Dylan Brown this week? 100%ly no. It's not even a word, 100%ly. But no, 100. Like if you own Cody Walker, you just have to ride it out to round 18 realistically. I would not be doing a switch of Cody Walker to Dylan Brown. I actually think Cody Walker will outscore Dylan Brown until round 18. He's got a better draw, and I think Dylan Brown's draw is not as easy. Dylan Brown, I think, will be better for the rest of the season because his run home is easier than Cody Walker's. But right now, you've got to hold on to Cody Walker, in my opinion. Good trade option for Taff. It's probably got to be Ezra Mam, I think, right? He's 200k-ish cheaper, low break even. In In terms of the Coruscant in for Grant, I don't think it's a good option, especially Grant looks like he's confirmed to play this weekend. So I think I definitely would not be trading out Grant now. Let's have a quick look at the time. 6:37, so we'll go for another 20-ish minutes. What team do I go for? I go for the Roosters. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I know everyone hates Roosters fans and the Roosters, but I go for the Roosters. If you want to know why I go for the Roosters, so I live in Western Sydney. I probably should go for the West Tigers, but the reason I go for the Roosters is I was a dumb kid, 5 years old. Like, no one in my family watched rugby league, so there's no one else for me to rely on. And so I just saw Sydney Roosters, and I thought, oh, well, I live in Sydney. I'll go for Sydney Roosters. I thought West Tigers was Western Australia, so I thought I'm not going for them. So Sydney Roosters is what I went for. And then it turned out they were a good team in the early 2000s. So I thought, oh, awesome. This is a good team to support. That's it. That's literally my backstory of how I support Sydney Roosters. I don't live in the eastern suburbs or anything. No, I'm not a Warriors fan. Definitely not a Warriors fan. Is it worth getting Talaka in back with the Sharks draw? 100%. Yeah, for sure. It's a tough question, would you go for Talakai over Mulatalo? Someone asked me this on a comment. I said I'd probably go for Mulatalo over Talakai because I think if Talakai does well, Mulatalo is probably going to do well at the same time. Whereas I feel like Mulatalo can do well and Talakai might not do well at the same time. Because, Mulatalo might get cutout balls. Whereas if all the balls going down the left-hand side, Talakai might just pass it off to Mulatalo for a try or something. So, yeah, I know that's not quite your question, Alexander, so I feel like I'd just lean Mulatalo, but I still do think that Talakai is a good purchase. He's a good price. 550k is dual. Got the same good draw as well. Campbell Graham, Queenslander. Yeah, I think Campbell... Look, I would really like to get Campbell Graham. I just think with my current setup, and I slightly prefer Mulatalo, so that's why I've just gone for him. Excuse me. Aman, what's your background? So I'm Indian, well, North Indian if you want to be specific, but yeah, Indian background, but I was born and raised here. Karaz or Kula for Ramsey. Now, this is an interesting one. So I think Kula's got the lower break even, but I feel like Karaz has got more of the Supercoach friendly game. So I would maybe slightly change my thinking on the from my video where I said I'd trade out Karaz before Kula. I actually think I'd trade out Kula before Karaz. Karaz has a bit more of a Supercoach friendly game, in my opinion. Do I live in the Tigers area? Well, I live in like southwest Sydney, so you'd probably call that Tigers area. Aman, you need to replace Kiri in the next few weeks whilst trying to save money for Pappy. Any ideas? 220k, and you already have Mam. Oh, jeez. Oh, and do you have Kiri in your 5'8" or your halfback? That's a tough one, really, because then you'd be trying to do duels, I think. Tommy, Aman, I'm ranked top 2k. Congratulations, good spot to be in. But only have 12.5 mil team value. How can I fix this? Otherwise, I feel like it will bite me later in the season. Firstly, it's not going to bite you that you have 12.5 mil team value. The winners of Supercoach didn't have the biggest team value. They scored the most points. I'm pretty sure, not last year, but the year before, the guy who won, he had a team value which was like 600k less than everyone else in the top 10. So that put that into some perspective. Team value is not everything. It obviously helps because you can afford more guns in later, but I don't really think it's the be-all and end-all. If you really want to increase it, you have to start going with some cheapies. So sell guys with the high break-even, bring in guys with low break-even. So Ezra Mam is a perfect example of that. If you get an Ezra Mam, he'll make a lot of money this week. If he scores like 50 points, I think he's going to make over 100k. So he's going to make a lot of money. So yeah, I think that's one example of how to do it. Sell guys with high break evens. But yeah, look, I wouldn't stress too much about not having a quite high team value. 5 best players for round 18 onwards. Oh geez. So if you want to ask me the 5 top averaging players for the rest of from round 18 onwards, Nathan Cleary, Nico Hines, Cameron Munster, Harry Grant, Ryan Pappenhausen. I'd probably say them 5. You can maybe throw in Tedesco, but yeah, I'd probably say them 5 to be honest. Top of my head though, didn't really put too much thought into that. When you're on the All Stars podcast, did he pronounce the name wrong the entire time? He did, yeah. But we'd already started recording, so I thought I'd just leave it. Look, it's not that big a deal. the cheese or McInnes, trying to save for a little Pappy next week. Yeah, if you are trying to save for money for Pappenhausen next week, then I'd say go the cheese because he's cheaper. Yeah, that's simple answer. If you're trying to save the money, then yeah, do that. Okay, Owen, so Kyrie's in your 5'8". Jeez, there's no good cheap 5'8s, I think, are there? There's really not a lot. And you already have Man. I would just try to raise the money and upgrade Kyrie. I know that's a pretty cop-out answer. But yeah, I don't think there's anyone who's good who's cheap. I mean, maybe Kurt Falls. What's his position? He's only a halfback, so you could maybe do it. But I would only do that if Cleary was ruled out this week. Taft to Man, Suwali to Ronaldo, Nat Butcher to Tamalolo. So I think Tamalolo is a good option, even though he doesn't cover round 17. He's nice and cheap. Still has a 62 break even, and I think Butcher's break even is 40, 42. So I think up Cronulla, I would definitely do the first two. Taft to Mam, Suwali to Ronaldo, awesome moves. But I think you can hold off on the Nat Butcher one out. It sounds like you're using a boost for that. I don't think I'd be forcing that. Let's see. Isaac, Olukwatu, Aitken, Talakai, or Mam. Choose 3. Okay, so I'd definitely play Olukwatu and Talakai, no question about it. Mam or Aitken? I'd actually go Mam, just he's got the upside. Will Kennedy, the pod of the week? Probably is. I know Savs from the Supercoach Experience is thinking about getting Kennedy in this week as well. He's got he's got a very high break even, 158. So I feel like you could get him next week, but obviously you want to get him this week against the Warriors. But I feel like he's not going to outscore his break even, surely not. The problem with him as well is that he only takes up the fullback spot. So he is taking up a valuable position. Whereas, Mulatalo, Talakai, they're easier to fit in because of the fact that you can get them in second or forward or centre wing, where you can get 7 slots. So, look, he will be a pod. I don't think I'm going to go him. I'm not going to go for Kennedy. But, yeah, look, definitely could be an option. That's for sure. Trading in Graham this week, then Aitken to Ronaldo next week because Graham has a lower break even and it saves you some money. Do you think this, or just go Ronaldo this week and then buy in Graham? Look, if you excuse me, sorry. If you're definitely going to be buying Graham and Ronaldo, then I would probably buy Graham this week because he has got the lower break even, and then next week Mulatalo still has a good matchup. So yeah, I think the way that you've ordered that is probably correct, Angus. Should you get rid of Yo, and who would you bring in? Yeah, Darren, I think Yo is fine to sell. I sold him last week, and I don't think I'll be getting him back for the rest of the season, just with my trade situation. In terms of who to go for, round 17, guys, there's not that many in the second row forward. Maybe McInnes, Yo to McInnes could be a solid one, actually. He'll cover, he's got the duel, he'll cover you for round 17. He could be a handy backup if you've already got Cotter, and you can switch the two. So yeah, Darren, I think I'd sell Yo and I'd probably just buy McInnes. Probably the sort of safe option. You have 240k in the bank. Should you trade Butcher for McInnes or save the money for Paps when he comes back? Yeah, that's an interesting one. Because I don't think Butcher is a must sell this week, and I don't think McInnes is a must buy this week. Like, fine, he's got a good draw, but McInnes is not typically that kind of player. So, like, I think I'd be using that money to try get to Pappenhausen if you could. Is it bad to buy Reynolds? It's not bad. He was killing it before his injury. But the Broncos draw, if you look at it, is pretty tough. Yeah, and he's also very expensive, 680k. So look at their draw. It's the Raiders this week who have been definitely improving. Then it's Melbourne. Then it's Cowboys. I don't like that at all. I'd maybe think if you are wanting to buy him, I don't mind buying him in round 17. When he's got Dragons and then the Titans and then the Tigers in the next 4. But right now, I don't think is a good buy. Perhaps first week back or wait till round 16, 17. Yeah, so I went to it earlier, Scott. I do think I'm going to wait on Pappenhausen. Just hammy injury. I know NRL Physio always talks about this. Hammies can be a bit of a one where you want to see how he goes before you get it, you buy the player, just because it's one of those ones where there's some re-injury risk. So I'm personally going to wait, I think, for at least a week on Pappenhausen. Where do you think McInnes sits when Finucane comes back? I don't think Finucane coming back will affect McInnes. You've got the likes of Wade Graham. He's kind of still battling a few injury issues, so I feel like he's not going to really eat into McInnes' minutes. Finucane has his own issues with concussions and some niggling injuries as well. But even when Finucane was fit, he was playing at prop, and McInnes was still named in the starting lock position, and he was still playing decent minutes. So I don't think Finucane is going to affect McInnes. I feel like McInnes is pretty safe. Physio was talking about it on his Magic Sponge podcast last week, where he was looking at McInnes' base plus power numbers and that they've been increasing in the last few weeks, which he said is a good sign of someone coming back well from their ACL injury. So I feel like McInnes is probably playing well, is fit, and I don't think his minutes are going to be that impacted. So yeah, I don't think Finucane's really going to be too much of an issue for McInnes. Should you sell Cobbo in a week or two to Mulatalo, or use the cash gen to get Paps in 3 weeks? Yeah, I think it's a really team-dependent question. I'm going Mulatalo this week just to try to chase the points this week, and I'll figure it out later with Pappenhausen. So yeah, it kind of depends. Do you want to chase the points right now, or do you want to try and play it conservative and then wait for Pappenhausen? The reason I'm just going for Mulatalo now is that if, say, for example, Pappenhausen comes back and drops maybe an 80, he'll still go down in price, and you can pick him up cheaper. So maybe the cash generation point doesn't become as important. Sorry, I'm just checking my Twitter, seeing if there's any news. No, I can't see much in terms of new news. So that's okay. Garrick or Mulatalo? Oh god, that's a tough one, eh? Well, Garrick does have the Tigers this week, but then I think he's got Melbourne the week after. Let me see. He's got the Cowboys. He's got the Cowboys and then the Storm. I think I'd be going Mulatalo. Round 17 cover Jaden. It's a tough one though, because I think Garrick is a season keeper. But I feel like if you hadn't got him last week, I'd try to then maybe look at the round 17 guys. And Mulatalo's got a better 3-game stretch coming up. We're going for time. 6:50. We've got another 10 minutes. Hey bro, thoughts on kick out to Mulatalo? No, I don't think kick out is a sell. If you Panthers having a really, really good draw coming up. They've got the Knights this week and then the Warriors. You definitely want to be holding your Panthers players for that. So no on the kick out to Mulatalo. And you've got Hines, Cleary, Cody Walker, and Munster. Yeah, Alex, I think with that halves setup, I don't think you can go for Mam. There's going to be a few teams out there who can't get Mam in just because they've got really stacked halves, and then their fullbacks are like Tedesco and Drinkwater, so they can't really sell any of them. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I think you'll have to let Mam go. Pappy versus the Broncos next week. That's true, but the Broncos are improved. But yeah, I feel like the Storm do also smash up the Broncos at any given week. And yeah, look, Pappenhausen, there's not many players who I was more confident on coming into the season for my team than Pappenhausen. I was just like, there's no way I'm not starting my season without him. Grant's playing on the wing for the Storm. Yep, that's true. So Grant is playing on the wing for the Storm, but not Harry Grant. Grant Anderson. He has been named as the coach replacement. So yeah. No clickbait, Moz. No, I'm joking. I know Whisperer, I think, tweeted out the same thing as well. Who do you get at halfback? Cash isn't a problem. Or do you have Hines and Cleary? We already have Hines and Cleary. If you've got... Ooh, okay. So I would go with either Moses or Jerome Hughes. Now, which one of the two would I prefer? I'm just going to have a quick look at... So the Storm the next few weeks, they've got the Broncos, Manly... And then there's the Sharks. Eels have got the Bulldogs, the Tigers, the Warriors. I feel like Moses' draw is a little bit better in the short term than Jerome Hughes. And he's goal kicking. Hughes is a pretty solid option though, so that's a tough one, eh? It'd be one of them two, Jaden. It's a really tough one. Who would you go for? I'd say just Hughes. I feel like he's going to be more of a pod. And also, now Pappenhausen's back next week, Grant, Munster playing. I feel like when you have those 4 all playing, that's when Storm might start going back to their ways of scoring like 35, 40 points a week. And so I think Hughes will do well. So yeah, I think I'll just be taking a bet on playing for someone who's playing for the best team, or the second best team, probably behind the Panthers. Meany a pickup? No, I don't think Meany is a pickup. Someone was asking him about selling him earlier, so I don't think, if you don't own him, I don't think I'd be buying him. Final reserve of Kula or Lolo. I'd probably just go Tamalolo. I think without Cotter and Nanai, who probably play big minutes, and so he might smash out 60 to 70. Kula's probably not quite going to get there, I think. Garrick and Mulatalo, we just discussed this, Brownie and Spots, so I would say Mulatalo this week. James, is it really worth selling Grant? No, I think now that he's playing this week, I don't think you can really sell. I don't think you can sell now that he looks like he's playing. Okay, how are we going for time? We'll go for another five or so minutes. I feel like the questions have started to slow down a little bit. We've still got another... actually, what I'll do, I'll wait until at least we get the Dragons Cowboys team. But I don't think we're going to be expecting that many relevant things to happen there. The only thing I'd say is that if, say, for example, Ben Hunt doesn't play for the Dragons, it'd make me less keen on Lomax, because I feel like without Ben Hunt, the Dragons, I don't really like their chances this week. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, so while we bide some time before we get more questions, I wanted to look. I always like looking at the random trade outs. There's some really funny ones. So say, for example, Dylan Brown. 2 people have sold Dylan Brown for Michael Molo. That's an interesting one. 2 people have sold him for Jerome Luai and for Matt Burton. So yeah, interesting one. Dylan Brown out for Molo. Ezra Mam, minus 109 break even. 1 person has sold Ezra Mam for Tom Starling. 1 person has sold him for Kurt Falls. 2 people have sold him for Jamin Salmon. Now that's an interesting one. So yeah, some funny trades going on here. Anyway, we'll get back to some questions. Would I bring in McInnes or Talakai at second row forward? Oh, Talakai for the upside. Thoughts on anti-potting Manu now that Teddy's backing up? Yeah, I think if Teddy's backing up, you can avoid Manu, I think, until at least round 18. Just with their draw not being too easy now. Is Cody Ramsey a decent pod, or is his base too low? Look, his base is low. And I think... What's his break even? It's minus 34, so he'll make money this week. But I don't like the fact that they've got that kind of toughish draw until round 17. So if he's a downgrade option for you, then fine, he'll cover round 17. It looks like he's got that fullback spot. But I don't think he's like an amazing option. Maybe one that you can get in round 17. Do you think Kennedy could be a good bridge to Paps? Yeah, look, I think Kennedy will do okay. He'll definitely probably average maybe around 60 in the next 3 games. He could be a bridge. The problem is that he's got a high break even this week. So I feel like by the time you want to sell him to Pappenhausen, I feel like you're still going to have to sell him and make up quite a lot of money just to make that gap. He's not someone whose price is moving in the right direction from straight away. It's probably going to go down this week and then start going back up again. So I don't think bridge is probably the right word for Kennedy to Paps. He could be a nice option for points, but to help get the cash up to Pappenhausen, I don't think he's quite going to be that kind of player. How do you sell D Brown for Molo, mate? I don't know. There's some funny trades that go on in SuperCoach. Appreciate it, bro. You think Kikau or Tungo out is the only way to get Mulatalo? Would you say it's worth... Oh, I don't think it's worth, Alex, just because Penrith also have a good matchup coming up for the next 2 weeks. Knights and Warriors. I think you got to hold them for that. Okay, so I think we've just got the game day mail for the Dragons Cowboys, so I'll look at it here. So yeah, Tom Dearden's playing, which is expected. Val Holmes is playing, which is expected. Ben Hunt is playing for the Dragons, which is good news, I guess. They're going to be performing a little bit better. Josh Maguire's coming to the edge. Jaden Sewer's on the bench. Tariq Sims is out, so that's expected. So yeah, not too many SuperCoach relevant things there, I think, as well. Is McInnes worth getting in with Finucane and Graham coming back? Yeah, I think for sure. I don't think them two are going to really affect his minutes. David. Oh, David, good to see you. It's been a while since I've actually seen you in the chat. Good to see you. Hope you've been well. Josh is playing 5'8" this week. Okay, interesting. So what's going to happen there? Does that mean because I thought Cherry Evans was going to back up and Foran was going to play in the halves and Truce was on the bench. Is that some news that Cherry Evans is not backing up? DM me, David. We'll see. Interesting. Okay, that's something to keep an eye on. So, if that's the case, and say for example Cherry Evans didn't play, that would make me even more okay to sell Tuipulotu. Hey mate, would you do Aiken to Talakai this week if you could, based on current price? Yeah, look, I think selling Aiken this week is fine if you're getting in a round 17 guy like Talakai or Mulatalo. Okay. So yeah, I think I think Ronaldo could be a slightly better option, but Talakai does have the duel. So again, kind of depends on your money situation, Luke. I know it's not easy decision. My thinking with Mulatalo just above Talakai was, if Talakai does well, it's probably meaning that Mulatalo is also doing well, because Talakai might just hand the ball off for a try if the left side attack is humming. But I feel like Mulatalo can do well and Talakai doesn't, because Mulatalo could get like cutouts from Hines. So yeah, I would just lean Mulatalo, but look, nothing wrong with getting Talakai as well. The duel is really handy. Ches resting. Okay, David. So David is saying Ches is resting. Now that's pretty big news, if that's the case, because that's surprising, because normally Cherry Evans, I think he always usually backs up. So okay, interesting news. So yeah, I think that makes Tuipulotu an even easier sell in my eyes, because I think when Foran was playing, Tuipulotu barely got the ball. So yeah, I'm happy enough to sell him. Josh playing 5'8", that's always fun to watch as well. I'm sure, David, can you tell Josh to throw at least 3 no-look passes, please? Against the Tigers, surely you'll have enough opportunities. G'day, man, Big Ted here. You ranked 181. Oh, wow, that's an awesome ranking. You're anti-potting Manu and trading Burton. Dillbags and Campbell Graham. Oof. Yeah, I like getting in both Dillbags and Campbell Graham this week. I'm all aboard the Dillbags train. You guys know me. I was messaging the Whisperer earlier. A few people said they were on the Dylan Brown train, but then they all sold him for Cody Walker. I have stuck strong with Dylan Brown all season, and hopefully he stays there all season long, scoring me plenty of points. Could you check Drinkwater's break-even? Yeah, no problem. So if you want to check break-evens in the future, 65. So Drinkwater's break-even is 65. I'll quickly post a link in the chat. This is the best website, hands down, for any NRL SuperCoach stats, everything. So if I go to profile, team prices and break-evens. So let me put this in the chat. NRL SuperCoach Stats, amazing website. It's not quite exactly equivalent to the actual games break-evens, but they're very close. Okay. The Rabbitohs are closing in on Saluka Fafita as a signing. Is that true? Because I'm pretty sure Saluka Fafita was the one who literally went he lost his mind against the Rabbitohs and threw a punch or something. Yeah, he punched Arrow. Well, that's interesting. Look, they'll punch on anyways. So, you think Suwali can bag a double this week against the Storm? That's a tough one. Yeah, selling Suwali is not ideal. He could be a good option moving forward, but I think getting in Mulatalo felt good for me for this week. You can only get Brown or Graham this week, and you'll get the other next week. So I would get Brown this week, Brendan, just because, yes, he's got the Bulldogs this week, and Graham has got the Titans this week. Next week, Graham still has a good matchup. I believe he has the Dragons, whereas next week, Brown's got the Roosters. So I feel like you're not going to want to buy Dylan Brown next week. So I'd buy Dylan Brown this week, and then I'd be buying Campbell Graham next week. Who's my fourth reserve? Oh, you can't see it on screen, can you? It's Talakai, Cleary, Dylan Brown, and Mulatalo at the moment. If Cleary is ruled out, I'll take the reserve off him, and I'll put it on McInnes. If Cleary is playing, and we find that out before the Broncos play, I'll swap in Cleary. I won't reserve Ezra Mam, and I'll put the reserve on McInnes. Ted saying hello, David Shrew, can't help but notice the last name. Yeah, so Ted, I think David is his brother. Yeah, and David, let me know in the chat. You were killing it early this season. I think you were like top 100. Let me know how you're going overall rank wise. Hopefully you've kept up the pace. Is Yo named? No, so Isaiah Yo is not going to play on Sunday. So he's been ruled out by the club. As a Storm fan, Swali and Tupou jumping against Sevain Eremaya. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, Swali's a freak. He's going to soar above them. But, yeah, there's not going to be players he won't get line breaks with those tries, I guess. Okay, Scott saying, how many players have you kept from the start of the season? Okay, interesting. So, Max King is 1, Payne Haas is number 2, Targo 3, Aitken 4, Jack Howarth 5, if you count him. Dylan Brown 6. Dylan Brown 6. Only the 6 players I've kept all season long at this point in time. There's a few I wish I started with, like Nico Hines. Would have been nice to start with him. Would have been nice as well to start with. I mean, do I count Angus? He was in my starting team, but I traded him out and in, so probably doesn't count. It would have been nice to start with iPath as well, actually. Yeah, this is okay. I might do this as the last question, guys. Do you go Katoa instead of Mulatalo if you already have Talakai and Hines? So yeah, so what Captain Hausen is saying here is about getting coverage on both sides of the field. I don't mind that option. Katoa is a lot cheaper as well. I just feel like that the Sharks will prefer to target their left side. Like left wingers always seem to do better because that's like most players are right-handed. Naturally, they pass the ball from right to left. So I feel like the left side wingers always do better than the right side. Penrith, that's the case. Rabbitohs, that's the case. Sharks, I think that's the case as well. The Storm, I'd probably say the Storm left side as well, just about. So I still think Mulatalo is a better option. I get what you're saying. So I don't mind that tactic of trying to cover both edges. But I'm more thinking I'm targeting the better edge, going with both players on that side. David, you're down bad. 485 overall. Mate, 485. You're talking to a guy who's ranked 5.3k, 5.8k, whatever I am. Mate, don't rub 485 in my face and say that's sad face. Come on, man. I won't be having any of that. Look, 485 is still a really good place to be in. Alright, guys, going to end the stream there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We went for about an hour or so. Hopefully I addressed most of the questions. Unfortunately, I can't go all the way to lockout, but give the stream a like on the way out as well if you did enjoy it. I'm on my way now to get my Portuguese burger, as all of you so wisely advised me. Portuguese burger over the schnitzel burger. So yeah, I will enjoy that with some hot chips. My local charcoal chicken shop I think it's got the best hot chips I've ever had in my life. And they're so good. They always will ask me, do I want chicken salt? So they'll never skimp on the chicken salt. Chicken salt on my hot chips with a Portuguese chicken burger. That's my dinner. I'm gonna have my burger. I'm gonna watch Zach Lomax score about 150 points tonight. I feel it. We'll try talking to existence. Alright, gonna end the stream there, guys. Enough of my waffling. Good luck everyone this week. Keep an eye on your lineups. Keep an eye on late mail. Follow the likes of Wacko Whispers, Adam Stylesy on Twitter. They'll have all the late mail just so you're not caught out by any Origin late outs as well. Alright, see you all, and see you on the next one.